Hello, welcome to our channel. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to some Dhamma. We trust this Dhamma will be a blessing to you. Today's quotation and my Dhamma talk involves something Leo Tolstoy said. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. So this is what we see in our own lives and the lives of others. We see problems in the world, usually with other people, institutions, laws, bylaws, organizational problems, etc. Our spouse, our kids, our boss, our neighbors, our family, relatives. And the first impulse, of course, is to see what we can do to make them better, bring them the light, change them somehow so they don't disturb us the way they do now. As we become a little wiser in our Dhamma practice, we realize that Vipassana means insight, the act, the process, the practice of looking at oneself and withdrawing our criticisms of others and trying to focus our attention more clearly on our own inner struggles, our own delusions, our misconceptions, and our misunderstandings. The fact that changing is possible is demonstrated to us by the laws of anicca. I've mentioned before in a science class they said the only constant is change. Science tells us that atomic particles are in a constant state of flux. They sort of blink in and out of existence. Simultaneously, the time that they're in existence can't be measured, they're already out of existence, and that's a pure anicca. It arises and passes away simultaneously. Well, this concept is encouraging because it means that there is the possibility of change. We also need a level of conviction, a level of faith that this is possible, that what the Buddha teaches is true. We can trust it. He wasn't intentionally or accidentally misleading us. He has laid out a Dhamma for us that guarantees our success, provided that we've understood it correctly and that we've practiced it correctly. My own experience and witnessing others is that this effort to change, when we stop wishing to change others and the world, we begin to attempt to change ourselves. This sounds admirable, redeemable, but it's also a false view. It's the wrong view, the first of the Eightfold Path. It's a wrong understanding, and it results in a wrong effort. There's a famous story in the Old Testament. People who are not religious or may still have heard of it. It's called the Prodigal Son. Very briefly, this second son was not going to inherit much. The tradition was first son got everything. He asked his father for his inheritance. He left the family, left the whole country, went abroad somewhere, and he wasted all the money on riotous living. One day he was destitute. He had a job working for a wealthy farmer, and he was feeding the pigs, and he realized these pigs are eating better than me. And then he realized, I have a wealthy father. I could be living like a prince. I've lost my way. I'm completely confused. I've wasted my time and my inheritance. The smart thing to do would be to go home. After this insight, this recognition, this inspiration, there's a passage in the literature that says, "And he turned." That means he now has a completely different point of view. There's no mention in the passage how he got home, how hard it was, how much work he did, how tiring or what hardships he endured. There's no mention of that at all, if I recall correctly, and forgive me if I'm not. But the next passage is he's home, and his father's so glad to see him. He's has never stopped loving him. And he asked the eldest son to find the fatted calf, kill the fatted calf. We're going to celebrate. The eldest son is jealous. You never did that for me. Why are you doing it for this scoundrel? He's been lost and behaving badly. The father said, "It's because he was lost and now he's found that we celebrate." And all the goodwill, all the loving kindness, all the riches of the Father are then bestowed on the prodigal son. So our story here, our point of view is what we need to do is stop imagining that we're in a process, we're on a journey that's arduous, difficult, discouraging, depressing, etc., trying to practice the Dhamma. We're trying to make ourselves a better self. And this is the mistake that Tolstoy makes. He says, changing one's self. He was not able to find, that is, Tolstoy was not able to find the secret to being happy, to being liberated from the sense of suffering that he had, because he was continually looking in the wrong place. He was trying to perfect himself. Because there is no self, it's impossible to perfect oneself, and all efforts to do so are bound to fail. So our turning is to the mind that says that Dhamma nature exists. It exists in the present moment. If I'm not aware of it in the present moment, then I'm living in the wrong world. The world is not something that exists outside that we perceive through the five senses. The world is whatever we are aware of in the present moment, and that defines our world. If we're anxious, we're living in an anxious world. If we're happy, we're in a happy world, and so on. If we want to change the world, we have to change our point of view. We have to let go of opinions that have been keeping us from seeing things as they are, and not rather than as we want them to be, as we think they should be. These are the things we let go of, so our point of view, our right view, can be that of someone that no longer endeavors to perfect themselves, but surrenders, relaxes, and allows the pure Dhamma to manifest in the very place that we thought was ourself. Thank you for listening. I ask that you might consider making comments on our Dhamma talks. Please give suggestions for topics you might be interested in. Please feel free to contact us through the various options listed here on this channel and on our other channels. We have a web page, a Facebook page, a podcast. There's an ebook that I highly recommend that you download called Kamathena, the foundation of practice in the Thai forest monk tradition. Thank you again, and may you be blessed.